Beloved, know this truth today: money is not your master, it is your servant. It was never meant to dominate you. It was meant to follow the divine command of your spoken word. Too many live in the illusion that they must chase money, struggle for it, plead for it, but money is simply energy clothed in substance. And energy responds to the law of the spirit. Just as light obeys the sun and the tide obeys the moon, money will obey the one who knows their authority in the unseen. When you align yourself with divine supply, you step into a realm where lack cannot enter. The world may cry of recessions, shortages, or losses, but you are not ruled by appearances. Appearances are shadows, but truth is eternal. And the truth is this: abundance is the natural state of the soul attuned to its source. Speak with authority and money will find its way to you, not by toil, not by anxious effort, but by divine appointment. Say within yourself, money comes to me by divine right. I am the channel of infinite supply. The doors of wealth swing wide before me. Speak it not with fear, but with calm certainty, knowing that the invisible has already moved before you. The universe is a perfect law, and what you decree in faith cannot return void. Release the thought of money as a hard taskmaster. It is but a tool, a symbol, a servant awaiting command. When you fear money, when you see it as scarce, you place chains upon it. But when you bless it, when you honor it as a gift from the infinite, it multiplies under your hand. Gratitude waters the seed of supply, and the harvest comes swiftly. Do not say, I must earn my living. Life is not earned, life is given. Provision is not wrestled from the earth, it is spoken forth from the Spirit. Say instead, I live under divine economy, where all things are mine, and money comes to me easily and endlessly. Let your words be the rod that parts the sea of lack, and you will walk on dry ground into prosperity. There is no power in money itself, the power is in the word you speak and the faith you hold. If you speak of want, want will obey. If you speak of riches, riches will obey. Money listens like a faithful servant, waiting to run at your command. The law of obedience is written upon all creation: what you decree is what will appear. So, stand tall and speak, money, you are my servant. You come when I call. You stay when I bless. You multiply when I release you in love. Speak this with unwavering faith, and so it shall be. For money will obey the one who knows their word is law. Money is not your master, it is your servant, and will obey your spoken word. When you come into the realization of this truth, you step out of the bondage of fear and anxiety about supply. So many people live as if money holds them captive, as if it controls their every step, as if it dictates when they can move, what they can do, or how far they can go. But money was never created to be a tyrant over you. It is an obedient servant that moves by the vibrations of your thought and the power of your word. The spirit of life within you is the true source, and money is only the channel, the instrument, the tool that responds to your inner command. When you see money as master, you become enslaved by appearances. When you see money as servant, you take your rightful dominion. Every word you speak about money is a decree, and money listens. If you declare, I never have enough, then that becomes the command that money obeys. If you declare, money comes to me in abundance, then that decree opens the way for flow. The law is simple and unfailing: what you decree is what is formed. People often think that money is ruled by economies, by banks, by wages, by markets, by human systems. But those are only shadows of the greater law. The greater law is that money is obedient to the consciousness of the one who speaks with authority. That is why two people can live in the same city, under the same conditions, in the same environment, and one will live and struggle while the other walks in abundance. The difference is not the outer condition but the inner word. To say money is a servant is to free yourself from the lie that you must chase it. Servants come when they are called. They do not require pursuit. When you learn to speak with certainty, money hastens to obey. This is why your thoughts and words must be disciplined. To speak of debt, of poverty, of lack is to call lack into service. To speak of plenty, of overflow, of supply is to call wealth into service. Money has no will of its own, it is neutral, awaiting your command. It has no power to dominate, its only power is to obey. When a king issues a decree, the servants run to fulfill it. The king does not chase after his servants, does not beg them, does not worry whether they will obey. He simply speaks, knowing his word carries authority. So it is with you. You are the sovereign over your life, and money is among the servants awaiting your decree. Yet many live as beggars, pleading with money, doubting if it will come, fearful that it will leave. In such a state, the servant becomes the master, and the natural order is reversed. The restoration begins the moment you realize your place of dominion. Speak with clarity and faith, and money will obey. Money is energy, and energy flows where attention and intention are placed. If your attention is consumed by fear, energy is bound, and money seems to flee. If your attention is lifted in faith, energy is released, and money flows freely. This is not imagination but law. The unseen always precedes the seen, and the words you sow in the invisible become the harvest in the visible. If you say continually, "I can never get ahead," then you are sowing the seed of bondage. If you say continually, "Money is my servant and comes to me easily," then you are sowing the seed of freedom. The servant must obey the command of the master, and money must obey the command of the word. Think of how nature demonstrates obedience to the spoken word. The seed placed in the ground obeys the command of the season, breaking forth into harvest when the time comes. The tide obeys the command of the moon, rising and falling in perfect order. The stars obey the command of divine rhythm, shining in their appointed places. And money, too, is part of this universal obedience. It cannot resist the law. It cannot disobey the voice of faith. It cannot turn away from the one who knows their authority. The only question is, what command are you giving? So many command money unconsciously, and then wonder why it does not serve them well. They curse it with words like dirty, hard to get, never enough, slips through my fingers, and money, being an obedient servant, fulfills those commands. Others bless money with words of gratitude, calling it faithful, abundant, plentiful, and money fulfills that too. The servant listens at all times, whether you are conscious or not. That is why vigilance over your speech is so vital. Your words set money in motion. You can send it to serve you in increase, or you can send it to serve you in loss. You must claim your right to speak with authority. Stop speaking as though money is a distant ruler controlling your fate. Speak as one who knows money is at your feet, awaiting your instruction. Say, "Money, you serve me well. You come when I call. You obey my decrees. You are abundant in my life." Speak it with faith, and the unseen will shape itself around your word. Faith gives life to the command, and doubt drains it. When you doubt, the servant waits in confusion, not knowing what to obey. But when you speak with conviction, there is no delay in obedience. Begin to see money as a faithful companion, not a cruel master. See it as a river that flows where you direct it, not a storm that tosses you without control. See it as a tool in your hand, not a chain around your neck. When you shift the picture in your mind, you shift the reality in your life. The servant reflects the master's vision. If you see money as scarce, it shows up scarce. If you see it as abundant, it shows up abundant. The picture you hold, the word you speak, the belief you sustain, all of these become the orders that money obeys. Money is a mirror of consciousness. It cannot be greater than your decree, and it cannot resist your decree. If you decree freedom, it comes in freedom. If you decree bondage, it comes in bondage. The law is impartial, it makes no distinction. Just as the earth will grow weeds or wheat with equal obedience, money will fulfill the command you give, whether in fear or in faith. Therefore, choose carefully. Guard your words as treasures, for they are the scepters of command. Every decree you make is planting a seed in the soil of substance, and money will obey the harvest of that seed. Would you like me to continue and expand this keynote with even more illustrations, affirmations, and metaphysical examples to reach the full depth of Thas 1000 words? Or do you prefer it to stay within this current rhythm and length? Divine supply is unlimited, and when you align with it, lack cannot enter your life. Supply is not something created by human hands, it is the outflow of infinite spirit, the natural expression of a universe that knows no boundaries. The sun does not measure how much light it should give. It shines without restriction. The ocean does not count its waves. It moves in endless rhythm. The air does not ration itself. It fills every space in abundance. In the same way, divine supply has no limit. and the only thing that can keep you from it is the belief in limitation. Lack is not real in spirit, it is an illusion formed by thought. And illusions dissolve when truth is spoken. The truth is that there is no shortage in divine mind, no scarcity in the source of life, no withholding in the law of abundance. To align with this unlimited supply, you must shift from seeing the world through the eyes of fear to seeing it through the eyes of truth. Fear says, "There is not enough for me." But truth says, "All that is mine by divine right flows to me freely." Fear says, "I must fight and struggle." But truth says, "I receive with ease what belongs to me." Fear says, "I am cut off from good." But truth says, "I am rooted in the eternal stream of supply." Alignment means agreement. It means bringing your inner word into harmony with divine law. When you speak words of lack, you are aligning with the illusion of scarcity. When you speak words of abundance, you are aligning with the truth of infinite supply. The law will always reflect back to you what you agree with. The moment you truly recognize that supply is infinite, your relationship with money and possessions changes. You no longer cling in fear of losing, for how can you lose what is endless? You no longer chase in desperation, for how can you pursue what is already surrounding you? You no longer envy another's abundance, for the source is not depleted by giving to them. Infinite supply means there is enough for all, and more than enough, and still more beyond that. This realization dissolves jealousy, anxiety, and despair, and replaces them with calm certainty and trust. You begin to rest in the assurance that you cannot be left out, because divine supply is not divided, it is multiplied. Imagine a spring that continually bubbles forth from the ground. You may draw water with a cup, or a bucket, or a barrel, and still the spring does not run dry. One person may draw from it and another may draw at the same time, yet the flow continues without end. That is divine supply. It is not dependent on the size of your vessel, but on your willingness to draw. If you come with the cup of small thinking, you receive a cupful. If you come with the barrel of great expectation, you receive a barrelful. The supply is not limited. It is only your capacity to receive that sets the measure. Enlarge your capacity by expanding your thought, and more will flow, for the law does not withhold. The universe is abundance expressed, and every part of creation testifies to this truth. Look at the trees heavy with fruit, producing far more than one person could eat. Look at the grains of sand on the shore, uncountable, stretching as far as the eye can see. Look at the stars scattered across the heavens, more than human science can number. Abundance is written into the very fabric of existence. To believe in lack is to deny what your eyes behold in every direction. The spirit of life gives freely, fully, without restraint. Divine supply cannot diminish. It can only expand, for that is its nature. When you align with this truth, you become a channel of flow rather than a block to it. Many cut themselves off from supply by speaking words of limitation. Saying things like, "I can't afford this." "It's too hard to make money." Or, "There isn't enough to go around." These words close the channel, just as surely as a dam stops the river. But when you speak words of expansion, saying, "I live in unlimited supply. My needs are met with ease. There is always more than enough for me," the dam is removed, and the river flows again. Your word is the key to alignment. Divine supply is always flowing, but your word determines whether you open or close the gate. It is not the outer condition that determines your supply. It is the inner consciousness. Two people may be in the same situation. One thrives, while the other struggles. The difference is alignment. The one who knows divine supply is unlimited walks with confidence, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. The one who believes in scarcity closes their eyes to possibilities and shuts the door to provision. Lack cannot exist where the consciousness of abundance is established, because the outer must obey the inner. The condition of your life will always mirror the condition of your thought. You are not separated from this unlimited supply, for you are one with the source of it. You are not a beggar outside the storehouse, pleading for crumbs. You are an heir of divine riches, and the storehouse is already open to you. The only separation is in thought. If you believe you are cut off, you experience lack. If you believe you are connected, you experience abundance. The river does not stop flowing, but if you turn away from it, you miss its stream. Alignment is turning back to the river, placing yourself once again in the current of flow. Gratitude is one of the greatest keys to alignment. When you give thanks for what you have, no matter how small it appears, you are affirming the truth of abundance. Gratitude lifts your thought from scarcity to sufficiency, from complaint to contentment, from fear to trust. The moment you give thanks, you are saying, I see the flow, I acknowledge the source, I agree with abundance. And as you agree, more flows. Gratitude multiplies supply. Just as blessing multiplies the loaves and fishes. The more you bless, the more you receive, for gratitude is harmony with divine law. Faith also aligns you with unlimited supply. Faith does not wait for visible proof before it believes first and the proof follows. Faith says, I have what I need, though I do not yet see it. Faith says, my supply is already present in the unseen, waiting to appear. Faith holds steady when appearances shout otherwise, knowing appearances are temporary shadows that pass away, but the truth of supply is eternal. As you hold faith, you magnetize the unseen into the seen. You call forth the hidden into manifestation. Faith is the hand that draws from the infinite. To live in alignment with unlimited supply is to rest in the assurance that there is no lack, no loss, no limitation in divine mind. It is to speak words that agree with abundance, to think thoughts that expand rather than contract, to see opportunities rather than obstacles. It is to know that every need is already met before it arises, because the source is endless. It is to walk in freedom, not tied to fear of tomorrow, not chained by worry of not enough, but standing in the truth that divine supply cannot fail. Because it is the very nature of life itself, words of faith and gratitude command money to flow freely and multiply. Every word carries vibration, and every vibration creates form. When you speak words of fear, words of lack, words of despair, you set in motion vibrations that block the flow of good. But when you speak words of faith, words that are rooted in trust of divine supply, and words of gratitude, you release currents of energy that open channels for money to move toward you in greater measure. Faith is the language of the Spirit, and gratitude is the key that unlocks the storehouse of abundance. When these two are combined in your speech, they create a magnetic power that draws provision without struggle, without force, without fear. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. It is the invisible assurance that what you speak will come to pass. When you say, money comes to me by divine right, and you speak it in faith, the unseen substance begins to take form. When you declare, I am supplied abundantly, and hold fast to that declaration without wavering, the vibration is set, and money responds in obedience. Faith does not question. Faith does not doubt. Faith does not beg. Faith commands with quiet authority, knowing the law is unchanging and the word is creative. Gratitude is the acknowledgement of supply already present, and in that acknowledgement, supply increases. To say, I am grateful for the money in my hands, is to bless it, and what you bless multiplies. To say, I give thanks for the flow of abundance in my life, is to call forth more abundance. For gratitude expands the consciousness of wealth. When you complain, you shrink your consciousness and money withdraws, for complaint is a denial of abundance. But when you give thanks, you enlarge your consciousness and money flows more freely, for gratitude is agreement with increase. Words spoken in faith are like seeds planted in fertile soil. They may not appear immediately, but they contain within them the full harvest. Every time you affirm, money is flowing to me, you are planting a seed. Every time you give thanks, I am grateful for overflowing supply, you are watering that seed. In time, the harvest must come, for the law is certain. The words of faith and gratitude cannot return void. They must accomplish what they are sent to do. The only thing that delays or diminishes the harvest is contradictory speech. If you plant with faith but uproot with doubt, the soil cannot yield its full return. That is why consistency of word is vital. Keep the declaration steady, keep the gratitude flowing, and the law will fulfill itself without fail. Money is obedient, but it listens to the tone of your words. Fearful words sound uncertain, and money hesitates. Faithful words sound sure, and money hastens. Grateful words sound expansive, and money multiplies. The vibration behind your word is as important as the word itself. You cannot say, "I am wealthy," while trembling with fear and expect wealth to appear. You must speak with calm conviction, letting the tone carry the vibration of belief. You cannot say, "I am grateful," while resenting your circumstance and expect increase. You must allow true gratitude to rise within, and the vibration will call forth expansion. It is not empty repetition that commands money. It is the living vibration of faith and gratitude expressed through your words. There is creative power in affirmation. Affirmation is not wishing, it is not hoping, it is declaring the truth of divine law in the present moment. When you affirm, "Money flows to me freely," you are not making a request, you are issuing a decree. The law does not argue with you, it obeys. But the decree must be made in faith. Without faith, words are empty shells. With faith, words are living seeds. Combine faith with gratitude, and the decree becomes unstoppable. Faith says, "It is so." Gratitude says, "I thank you that it is so." Together they form a complete circuit, attracting supply from the unseen into the seen. Think of gratitude as the magnet that pulls more of what you bless. If you bless the small becomes great. If you bless the money you have, no matter how little, it begins to expand. If you despise what you have, it diminishes. Money responds to honor. To say, "I am thankful for this dollar," is to set that dollar to multiply. To say, "This is not enough," is to command lack to remain. Gratitude honors the supply, and what is honored increases. Words of faith align you with divine order. Words of gratitude align you with divine flow. Together they bring harmony, and in harmony, money flows easily. When your words are disjointed, faith one moment, fear the next, the flow becomes blocked. But when your words are steady, faith spoken continually, gratitude expressed constantly, the flow becomes strong and unbroken. You live not in sporadic bursts of supply, but in a steady stream of abundance. There is also great power in blessing money as it moves. When money comes to you, bless it with gratitude. When money goes from you, release it with faith. Say, "I am thankful for this supply, and I send it forth in love," knowing it returns multiplied. In this way, every transaction becomes an act of faith and gratitude, and every transaction increases the flow. Many people curse money as it leaves, saying, "It's gone," or "It's never enough," and thus they close the door to its return. But those who bless it as it goes open the way for greater supply to come back. Money moves in cycles, and faith with gratitude ensures the cycle remains abundant. Your words not only command money but also shape your inner consciousness. As you speak words of faith daily, you reprogram your mind to expect abundance. As you speak gratitude continually, you train your heart to recognize abundance already present. In time, your inner state becomes so aligned with abundance that lack cannot enter. Your outer world must mirror your inner decree, for the law cannot be broken. If you continually say, "I always have more than enough," you eventually live in that reality, because your consciousness has been reformed by your words. Money is drawn to faith and multiplied by gratitude. It is repelled by fear and diminished by complaint. The choice of which to use rests entirely in your mouth. Every day, you are giving commands with your words. Every statement about money is a decree, either for abundance or for lack. Speak with intention. Choose words that align with divine supply. Fill your speech with gratitude, for gratitude magnifies every decree. Let your words be filled with faith, steady and unwavering, and let your heart be overflowing with thanks. In this state, money flows freely, obedient to your call, multiplying in your hands, and returning in greater measure each time you release it with blessing. Money responds to the authority of spirit-led decrees, not to fear or struggle. The world has trained many to believe that wealth comes only through endless effort, through strain, through labor that leaves the body weary, and the mind restless. Yet true supply does not arise from the sweat of the brow, but from the authority of the word, aligned with spirit. Money is energy, and energy does not obey fear, nor does it bend to frantic effort. Energy obeys law, and the highest law is that spirit governs matter. When your decree flows from spirit, money aligns itself to that decree. When your decree flows from fear, money resists, because fear is not authority, it is contradiction. The spoken decree that comes from the Spirit within carries creative power. It is not a request, not a plea, not a wish. It is a command that moves substance into form. Spirit-led decrees are not born from the restless mind, but from the calm certainty of inner knowing. They are spoken with clarity, with simplicity, and with faith. When you say, "Money comes to me easily and constantly," from a place of alignment with Spirit, the law of supply begins to arrange channels for it to appear. When you say, "I live in overflow and never in lack," from the authority of Spirit, opportunities, ideas, and provisions are drawn into your life without strain. The decree does not chase, it compels. It does not beg, it commands. Fearful words carry no authority because they are rooted in separation. Fear believes that the source is outside, unstable, or scarce. Fear says, "What if it doesn't work?" Fear says, "There isn't enough for me." Fear says, "I must fight to survive." These words create resistance, for they do not flow from truth. Spirit knows no fear, and so money does not respond to it. Struggle too carries no authority, for struggle is an attempt to force through the outer what has not been established in the inner. Struggle says, "If I work hard enough, perhaps I will deserve supply." Struggle says, "If I sacrifice enough, maybe I will earn abundance." But money is not moved by exhaustion, it is moved by decree. To struggle is to deny the law, to decree is to affirm it. Authority is not loudness, nor is it force. Authority is certainty. When a decree is spoken from the Spirit, it is spoken as law without doubt. Just as light obeys the command of the sun, money obeys the command of the Spirit-led word. To decree is to establish, to declare, to set in motion what already exists in the invisible. When you say, "I am richly supplied," you are not creating supplied, you are acknowledging supply that already is. The decree is the bridge that carries the unseen into the seen. Money is not the origin of abundance, it is the reflection of abundance. Spirit is the origin. When your decree is rooted in Spirit, you are drawing from the source itself, and money, being but a servant, aligns to reflect that truth. When your decree is rooted in fear or struggle, you are drawing from illusion, and money reflects that illusion with lack and delay. The authority of the Spirit-led decree is irresistible, because it is not personal will forcing its way, but divine law expressing itself through your word. Consider how all creation responds to decrees of Spirit. The wind and the sea obeyed the word of authority spoken in perfect alignment. The fig tree withered